Hello traders, welcome to our weekly outlook for that we have been doing for the past 3 weeks as we approach our monthly masterclass. So let's get to it and see how things developed over the week. So we'll start with pound. And with pound, we can see we had our weekly levels. We had these blue levels here. So these are our weekly areas. We always start with a bigger time frame analysis. And we had a distinctive area of value of heavy volumes, not value, heavy volumes. And how we got to see this is you can either use the cumulative or if we go down to the sessional, that means it becomes much clearer. So this heavy volume area here, we see some price action and it has been there. It has not yet created value within it. So it was still a bullish high volume node or high volume area. And this is where for our NFP shorts, we took it up to here because this is where previously we have been having heavy volumes which simply transacted. They were not valuable, but still heavy volume. So unless we break this, then we can, of course, anticipate for more shorts. But as the week progressed, we can see we broke out from this previous weekly composite, and we have been in a bullish run until we came to our previous weekly level, which has been rejected twice. So we'll call this a double top. It has been rejected twice, and as you can see, the sessional profiles, we have been accepting value lower. Okay, more is being transacted at the lows after this transaction. So this looks like a bearish move, or it looked like a bearish move. And come Friday, Friday around NFP time. So NFP time came around here. Okay, so GMT plus 3, that will be around 3:30 right there. And this NFP had confluences. So the first confluence to go short was the rejection of the weekly, previous weekly value. As you can see, we have been rejecting at the value area low, and we have been accepting value lower after the rejection. So that was confluence number one. Confluence number two was if we look at the sessional, we created a composite. So you can see these value areas are overlapping. That's why you have this value area that was chartreuse in color to show the sessional values. And we see we had broken out of it, okay, significantly. And we had come back to a previous sessional value area that was seen on Friday. So if this is last Friday, this was 2 weeks ago. So that Friday, which we did the analysis. And from here at the volume point of control, we tried to come heading towards NFP. And with our footprints, usually if you're breaking out of value, then we want to confirm that. Our footprints kept showing that at this area here of volume, you can see even the distribution. So let's try and look at it like this. The NFP time, we see there was heavy volume distribution, and we can see there is price action in there, and it was on high volume. So this was absorption. So we saw all the buys being absorption as we are coming for the retest of this value area. Now remember, retests don't necessarily have to be exactly there, okay? It can be just before, as you can see. It can be at, or it can even protrude and go beyond before reversing. The point here being when the market is always searching for liquidity. So if there is no liquid, for example, here, one might think that this was acceptance, but this was simply rejections. So volume right here, a lot of absorptions, but liquidity started being seen here. That is why price protruded beyond it. After all that absorption, it failed to continue, and then we got our movement down. So as we know, the market is always in search of liquidity. But when you have all these, when you have the ability to profile and look at the action with your footprints, then it is at least easier to determine where liquidity is going to come. So in this case, there was a lot of absorption heading to NFP for this pullback. Okay, so this was confluence number 2. So confluence number 1, weekly level has been rejected. Confluence number 2, we are accepting value. With these overlaps, we are creating a very significant value area. We had already broken out of it. And as we're coming for that retest, we are finding a lot of absorption at the retest. So this was the confirmation for a short for NFP. Our target, obviously, because we know there's going to be heavy volatility. So my target was not necessarily this value area, but this heavy volume level here. Heavy volumes which have not created value as very significant. This is where most of the liquidity is. So after all this absorption, this is what represented the heaviest liquidity. So this was the short after down here. And after that, we can see the reaction that was got from there. So that is pound. So if we are to look at this in a weekly perspective, because now the week has ended, now we can create, we can merge all these things that at least we're looking at as if it was noise, and we can now create something. So what we have here is our new weekly level. So let's remove these. This is our new weekly value area. So this value area has been created after this rejection. So it was bullish run, now it's bearish, and you can see the price action from discount to premium showing value has been generated. So currently what we have is now we have a new weekly value area. We're going to give it blue. Okay. And this weekly value area that has been created. So if this is Friday, I'm going to extend it to cover the entire week. So if this is going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so we can extend it to there. And then we can also, of course, you're going to mark our volume point of control right there. And then, of course, we can give it something extra. And our value area, we're going to give it distinctive. Okay, so there we are. So what are we dealing with now? Okay, so what we're dealing with now is, if I bring back the sessional there, what we're dealing with now is, in our sessional outlook, we have, initially this was distinctive, this Friday from 2 weeks ago, but now we can see Thursday and Friday giving us some sort of overlap. It's an overlap of values, because initially it was this way, now we are accepting again value. So it is one huge composite. And If we were to look at it from the sessional point of view and take this entire composite, we have confluences. Okay, so the first confluence is our sessional is going to have these levels here. So that will be our value area high. This is going to be our value area low. And this is our volume point of control. Now, our volume point of control from the sessionals right there is in confluence with our weekly value area low. And so far, we can see from the NFP movement down to where there was liquidity, we have reacted, and now we have closed above value area low of these sessions. So from last Friday, if we look at it like this is what now we have. So come Monday, if we see that this is holding, then we shall be bullish to this confluence here of the weekly value area low and the sessional volume point of control. If it is maintained, then we shall be searching for value creation for this high volume node area right here, which has not yet been created. So we are likely going to have some price action in there. And this will confirm another bearish run, at least up to this previous weekly value area that was created. So we can have different charts where we are going to see how we can make it that it's not crowded. So for this, I'm not going to show you how you can do that. I think everything is at the discretion of a trader. But since this is just simply an analysis, what currently we have is from the weekly perspective or our bigger picture, what we have is we have rejected this value area. We had broken out of this previous value area for that bullish run. We are now accepting lower values. We are having sessional confluences right here, VPOC and value area low. So far, we have reacted at this bullish high volume node and we have closed above the value area low. Now, come Monday, these levels here are going to be crucial because around here, if it fails, then we can continue down. If it remains bullish, then we shall be looking at it here. If we accept, then obviously we are getting to go for this confluence there. Okay, so that is what we have for our pound analysis. When we come to euro, so euro again, it's the same. These levels here are during the week, so they might look a bit crowded, but it is as the week was progressing. So what do we have with euro? Now, when we look at euro, we had value up there, which was rejected, this pullback. And then we have been creating a significant composite, okay? Because if this is our weekly chart, this is our weekly chart, it means each profile shows us a 1 week. And you can see the number of weeks that have been there. So in this very huge composite, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, it's over a month, okay? This is what we have been working with. And from here, we can see that previously we had, from our previous session, we had broken lower and we had gone down, okay? So this is where we said we are going to look at our sessionals to see what that entailed. And you can see that after this breakdown that was closed here, we can see we started accepting value here. You can see there is an overlap of this, that, there. Okay, so we had this overlap, which was finished right there. So we created a composite, and this is what we got from our composite. So from the sessional, we can see after the breakout from this weekly value, we accepted value down here. Okay, and then we broke out of it. So you can see this break, we broke out of it, we retested and it held. So this was the confirmation of the bullish run until at least the previous value area. Excuse me, I think my mic went off a bit. So from there, this is what we have been doing. So we have moved from here and we have gone all the way to the volume point of control of that particular week. Okay. So when you look at this in a weekly perspective, which is our bigger picture, we can see, so we're going to remove this, that is not crowded. Want it to be as clean as possible. So what do we have now? So what we have now is we have had a quite significant composite, and you can see where that composite ends. So you can see we've added from here all these weeks ending here. So if we look at this, we have also included this. Okay, so this this section here is what has built this weekly value area. Okay, but also we are not going to forget that down here we had a sessional overlap of about 2 to 3 days here, which confirmed that this is now the bullish run at least to here. And again, we can see right there value rejected, and we accepted all the way to the volume point of control. So this is what we have. And now when we look at this week also, we can see that this week that has just ended also is part of an overlap of this entire composite. So in this case, we're just going to also include it. So as you can see, we are creating one quite huge composite. Okay. So now we are going to adjust our levels according to what now we have. So right now what we have is, that would be our value area high. This is now going to be our value area low. Let's see if the volume point of control has shifted. No, it hasn't. So we are still at the same volume point of control. So the only things that have changed will be the value area high and value area low, but the volume point of control has not changed. So in our weekly perspective, what we see is, based on the information that we have, is we have broken from the weekly perspective. We can see that there was absorption here. All the buying was absorbed. This is where most of the liquidity was, and it failed to even reach the volume point of control. And we got that bearish move until we got the breakout. Now from the breakout, we have been accepting price here. And this again was similarly to pound. Again, this was the confluence, okay, that for a bearish move. because fundamentals, again, they are hand in hand with what you have in your profile. So again, we had seen that the confluences are, we had broken out absorption happening, anticipation of shorts, as you can see, and we are going down. So remember these levels here. I believe we are going bearish and at least up to these areas. So that would be our weekly perspective. So when we drop down to the sessional, that means now currently, when we look at it in detail, here we can try and look at, there are very many composites in here. So if we don't want to confuse too much or draw too many levels, then we can simply just let this level that was created from our sessional composite to remain. And again, we also have our weekly composite. So now we're going to leave this as it is without crowding them, because if we say we start looking for composites here, it's going to be too much information. So what we can do is we can let it as it is and deal with, because after this breakout, we are seeing there is acceptance down here. Okay. So what we can do is we can specifically look at Friday's value area. So because after this breakout, we are seeing now this is where the acceptance is now occurring. So we are going to mark our Friday levels, the value area. And keep in mind, this is sessional. So we're going to give it our sessional color. That, and obviously we're going to mark our volume point of control. And from here, what now we have is, when we look at the context, we see that we have broken out of a weekly level that was rejected around the volume point of control. And now we can ignore this because this was still within this. So it has already been accounted for. What has not been accounted for is this significant value area. So what we can do is we are going to look at Fridays come Monday. We are going to look at Friday's value area and this composite value area. So these are the levels that we are going to be looking at come Monday and coming the development of the week. So this is how Euro looks like. So if we bring down, because we don't want to crowd our chart, so let's just leave it at weekly. So in our weekly perspective, what do we have? What we have is this. So contextually, what we can say is we have broken out of a weekly composite. We are now accepting value even lower, which looks bearish. We have broken out of it. If we can get a maybe slight pullback to confirm this, either here or the volume point of control, then we shall confirm that continuation of a bullish run to this previous value. If we break here and accept, then we shall be targeting volume point of control, value area low. And if there's a continuation, we shall keep tracking it as it is. So that is it for Euro. When we look at pound, it's the same. Again, we have those confluence levels and right there. So without forgetting that we have our level here. So let's just give it something. Let's give it a rectangle. So right, this point here to act as our value area low, and we remember this value area low from our composite of sessions, and it's a very strong zone. So if this is bullish, this was a bullish high volume node, and this is value area low, which we consider it to be discount, we have reached a very significant bullish level. So if we are still bullish, then we shall be looking at this retest here, value area low and the confluence of VPOC. If we accept, then again, we shall be looking for another confluence around this area here. So that is what we have for pound. I hope this was informative for all profile traders and for those students that we have been having before. For those who would also like to be part of to understand how to combine all this information and confirm it with our footprints, please feel free to communicate and we shall see how to assist each other. So thank you, and I wish you a progressive and happy week ahead.